Hi, I'm Coach Joe Correa, and today we're going to go over your toss. I know for a lot of people, toss can be a big issue or a big problem, but I'm going to show you 3 simple ways to perfect the toss by changing the way you focus on the toss. Now, a lot of people, when they toss the ball, they have the problem of either jerking the ball by just tossing it up. Other people have the problem of either bending too much their elbow, which creates a hook effect, so the ball turns backwards instead of going in the right direction, forwards and upwards. And the last thing is how people hold the ball. Now, this is something very important. A lot of people hold the ball a little, sometimes too tight, sometimes they hold it too loose, so it's impossible to control the ball. The way to hold the ball is if you hold it with your fingers and you put your hand facing down and the ball can't come off your hand, then that's the right grip. That's how you should hold the ball. Number 2, when you tilt the racket back over, you should have the right position. And then number 3, you want to make sure that when you're able to release the ball isn't stuck on your fingers and it's just not falling off your fingers. So remember, we tilt it downwards, still on, that's the right grip. And it's not on the palm of your hand. You want to make sure it's never touching the palm of your hand. Now, next thing, you want to make sure that when you hold the racket, your arm is extended. You don't lock your elbow, but you extend it. If you keep your arm extended, you'll be able to have a good long toss. Next, you want to make sure that when you start your toss, you decide, do you want to toss the ball in front of you on the left? Do you want to toss it on the side? Some people toss it on the side and create what's called like a rainbow motion on your serve. By tossing it on the side, you're going to notice that every time you toss, you kind of toss and you got to try to find that position where it's going to be right in front of you. Now, some of the best servers in the world, including Roger Federer, Alcaraz, Tsitsipas, a lot of the best tosses are all side rainbow serves, where you rainbow toss, where you toss the ball and then you make contact out in front. Now, this makes a huge difference because you can consistently create that motion and you can see my arm is extended. It's not bent. Now, for people who want to toss the ball out in front, that's perfectly fine as well. It works for a lot of people. It's very simplified and it's effective. Now, let's move on to 3 things that are going to help you improve your toss. Number 1, I want you to focus every time you toss the ball to have a starting position. So you can use your left leg as your starting position. When you prepare to toss the ball, you want to make sure that your hand is slightly on top without touching the leg. And then when you go to toss, you have that starting position. This eliminates that knee-jerk reaction of tossing the ball hard or by swinging the arm, because now you have no room to swing. You have a starting position here next to your left leg, and then that way you start with an abbreviated motion, which is out in front. Now, tip number 2 that I want to teach you today is going to be balance. Now, a lot of people focus on their hands, but when they're starting to serve and they're tossing the ball and they're out of balance, you're going to notice that a lot of times when they toss the ball is going everywhere simply because they're not in a balanced position. So what I'm going to teach you is I want you to go ahead and when you get in position to serve, I want you to bend your knees and I want you to stay in that position for 10 to 15 seconds. So you're going to get into a service motion and you're going to keep that position for 10 to 15 seconds. If you're able to hold that position for 10 to 15 seconds, you're in a balanced position. Now, if you can't hold that position for 10 to 15 seconds, it obviously means you're not in the right position. You need to square away your feet. You need to find a position that's balanced for your feet. If your feet are too close together and you feel you're not balanced, spread them apart. If you feel that sometimes facing forward isn't a balanced position for you, tilt your feet slightly diagonal when you reach the service line. Now, I'm going to teach you how to get into a proper position so that when you toss the ball, you feel comfortable before we get to number 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get right on the line. Right behind the line, we're going to get in a position that's balanced like we talked about before. We're going to go ahead and prepare that left arm close to the left leg so that we can go ahead and take an abbreviated motion as soon as we finish our tossing position. And then what we want to do is when you toss the ball, this is tip number 3. I want you to focus on tossing the ball forward. Why do you want to toss the ball forward? Well, number 1, when you toss the ball back, when you make contact with the ball, you're going to notice your racket is tilting backwards. This is what creates strain on people's shoulders. This is why people don't serve harder a lot of times, because you're using your shoulders, you're using a pushing motion when you should be using a pulling motion or a hammer motion when you make contact. In order to make contact in a hammer position, you want to make sure the ball is in front of you so that you get that angle correct. If you toss the ball behind you, you're never going to be able to make good contact. You're not going to be able to prevent a lot of the injuries that people get because of that position. So what I want you to focus on right now is I want you to toss the ball, remember, arm extended, fingers holding the ball, not the palm of your hand. And what you want to do is you want to toss the ball in front of you or in front of the white line. So when you go to toss the ball, you want to keep it in front of the white line. We toss it, and then we make contact out in front. What that does is you're going to notice that when you make contact out in front, you're going to be able to stay in balance, and you're going to be able to hit your strongest serves in the most balanced position. So let's do that again. I'm going to get in position. I'm going to toss it out in front. And then you're going to see that we generate enough power by tossing it out in front. Now, if these tips helped you out, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel and make sure you thumbs up. I hope to see you in one of my next videos.